So it's been about a year or so since the Danganronpa Distrust team started development on this project. A lot has happened since then, so I want to recap on everything we've accomplished so far and tell you what we have in store for the future. About a year ago, I decided to create a Danganronpa fan project revolving around a killing game featuring Rantaro. I promoted the fangame on amino apps hoping to gain new volunteers. My dumbass actually thought that it was a pretty cool and original concept that had never been done before and that everyone would be clamoring at the opportunity to work with me. It took me about 2 days for me to realize how stupid I was being. So I took to the internet after that and recruited artists and writers the old-fashioned way, through DeviantArt, Reddit, Tumblr, and Twitter. I got a lot of no's. Like, a lot of no's. But the people I did get to work with were fun as hell, so it didn't deter my enthusiasm. And while many people have left the project, I understand why, and I know that they have their reasons, and I still plan on crediting them after the project is all said and done. And though we went through a rough patch, with me doing some insensitive things, the current cast and crew have decided to look past that, and we are progressing with more commitment than ever. Since then, we've had tons of additions to the team, many of them just as passionate for the project as I am, and we're constantly improving the gameplay, artwork, soundtrack, and storyline. And that reminds me, I feel compelled to say that the majority of the people who work with me are severely underrated. For example, let's take a look at Super Geek Girl, the voice actress of Suzuru Kojima. Let's hear her say one of her lines.
It's nice to see you. I think so too. I don't think so.
Pretty good, right? Now let's check her YouTube channel. I mean, with such good voice acting, she's sure to have tons of... That's weird. I mean, I was certain she had tons of subscribers by now. Oh, maybe she has more followers on Twitter. I mean, she's pretty inactive on YouTube anyway, so perhaps this was all a misunderstanding. Oh my, this is not good. Not good at all. But you guys get the point, right? Support the additional cast if you can, please. Their links will be in the description. We also have 2 channels for the project, Taurus Studios, my channel, and Danganronpa Distrust's official channel. The difference is that in my main channel, I'll post updates, and on the official channel, I'll post the original soundtrack, trailers, and skits. This is very important, so if you prefer one channel over the other, pick one channel to subscribe to, or subscribe to both. I don't know, do you? Okay, moving on. Now, if you're watching this, you're probably wondering, Q&A? Why wasn't I informed of this? That's because I only mentioned it in our official fan Discord server. If you want to interact with the cast and crew, I encourage you to accept the invite in the link down below. Yeah, I know, it's selfish self-promotion. But in all honesty, if you're really invested in the project, there's no reason not to join. But enough of that. Let's get to the main event. The time period where fans were allowed to ask questions that would be answered in this video was about 1 week, and in that time a lot of good questions were asked, but there are also a couple of questions that I'm not willing to answer at this time. Mainly questions made by staff or joke questions. Come on guys, let's be serious. Alright, time for question 1. Was there any inspiration for you to create this fangame? Also, I'm really excited to see how this project will go. First of all, I'd like to say thank you. Secondly, the answer to this question is another video entirely, largely because one of the reasons I created this project was Danganronpa V3, particularly its ending, and as we all know, if I was to tell you my opinion here, it would just result in another scrum debate. But tell you what, I'll upload this video to both channels. If this gets 100 likes on either channel, I'll answer the question in a new video. Question 2. Is Sora indeed a bottom, and will Hiro Shota be canon? In all seriousness though, how long did getting to this point in development take? Estimatedly. We officially started development of Distrust on November 30th, 2018, so it took about a year to get to this point. Is this game related to the original timeline, aka the original Danganronpa timeline? Yes, in Danganronpa Distrust, the Hope's Peak Academy saga is canon, and this project leads up to Danganronpa V3. However, we did make some changes to the canon elements in V3, just so you know. Alrighty, I got a question for you. Who is your favorite out of the new cast? I won't say who my absolute favorite is because the reason why is spoilery, but I will give you my second favorite. It's Katsura Ito. He's super fun to write and his portrayal by Wind makes me love him even more. Not that I favor Wind or anything, the entire voice cast is stellar. How far into development are you? Are you far enough that you can give an estimate as to when we could expect it? Also, are you releasing it chapter by chapter or as a whole game? Pretty far. We have the script, soundtrack, and most of the voice lines necessary for the prologue. The CGs, sprites, and environments need some work, but that's about it. And I want to get the prologue finished and released within 6 months. If not, definitely by summer, if we have no complications. Oh, and we're releasing the game chapter by chapter, starting with the prologue. Arya, why did you want to join Danganronpa Distrust? This is what V had to say. There wasn't a specific reason. It was mostly because I was asked to, and I found the project really neat and promising. I'm glad I chose to join though, since it helped me improve a lot, especially when it comes to taking criticism. And we're glad you joined too, V. To all the VAs, why did you want to voice the characters you chose? I'll be the one voicing these questions. Now, technically, I could just have the VAs vocalize their answers, but I like narrating things, so I'll do that instead. I've always had a soft spot for more serious characters, the ones with an almost clear goal in their eyes. Yumiko, also being sarcastic and sorta a loner type, fits my bill perfectly since I love sarcasm naturally. Also, she just seemed to fit my voice type perfectly, so I wasn't gonna pass up another chance to embrace my low voice. And me being in love with archery also applies here. I did peg Hiroshi as my most likely to be cast as characters simply because the majority of characters I get cast for are typically very formal personalities with mid-tone voices. I do enjoy doing formal voices though, so it isn't a problem. In fact, it makes me even more happy that I got cast as him. Montoro though, yeah, that was an unexpected bonus. I didn't actually think I'd get cast as him. It was a pleasant surprise though, to say the least. I chose Rin mainly for her interesting type of mystery value. I've always enjoyed characters with an unreadable aura around them, and I feel like she nails that. She seems like the cold, distant type, almost unapproachable, but I can really sense something saying that she has a lot of room for development, which I'm all about. She seemed like she'd be fun to play with and create more strength in that interesting personality with my voice, so I'll do my best to nail it. I auditioned based on the voice type and whether or not I think I could effectively act as the character. I pretty much auditioned for every female plus Susuru, though I didn't really choose Mai or Sumugi per se. In fact, I expected to, if I were chosen at all, land Mayu. However, I tend to get cast as high energy characters, which is probably why they ended up choosing me for Mai. Sumugi wasn't expected, but apparently I can do a decent impression of her. Not sure if that's a good or bad thing considering I can literally do 2 impressions and apparently one of them is a psychotic cosplayer. Go figure. I've never really done super chill characters, so I wanted to challenge myself and act as a less energy character. I really like my character. She's super cool and suave as hell. I love using her voice too. Her design is beautiful. I think I was also recommended to audition as her. I'm also stoked that I got a role. It was a lovely surprise. I just really like that she's an attorney. Take that! Other than that, she's very cute. Other than that, it was recommended for me, so I just decided to give it a go. I didn't expect to actually land a role, so that's super cool, and I'm still really happy and excited about it. I auditioned for Takehiko because I liked the idea of an ultimate lucky student, and I wondered how luck was going to be used in the game. I also liked the design of the character, and I thought it would be fun to audition for him. Up until now, all the roles I've been given have been female, so I wanted to try my hand at a male role for a change. And when I read Sassuro's description of being a proxy of Miles Tails' power, I decided to give him a shot, as I can match his voice pretty well. I really auditioned for him because I thought he looked cool. I thought to myself that I wasn't going to get him, my voice doesn't fit, so oh well. I really didn't expect to be cast as Osamu, but I'm pretty happy that I did. I love the design, character, and pretty much everything about him. He's out of my voice range, so that's the part that scared me the most, but I'm excited to try out a new part of my spectrum. I usually have no bias when it comes to auditions, so I try to do each character that wouldn't sound completely jarring when my voice comes out of them. I was actually hoping to get Satomi because I had this vision of what I think she would sound like, and the other auditions didn't quite match my idea of her. Strangely enough, I did get kind of attached to her, even more so than Maya, which is of my current knowledge is more popular than Satomi. Speaking of that, I was actually surprised that I ended up becoming Mayo as well, since she's not really the kind of character I tend to get cast as. Regardless, I hope that people will like what I have to offer for both characters. I like voicing deep voice guys with serious faces, which is my mood every day. Hey, you never said these answers had to be detailed. So I feel like I can relate with the more laid back, chill kind of characters who try to get by with a sense of humor and a hint of friendliness. Warm, likable characters like Sora also feel like someone who can hide a lot of emotional layers, which is the characters I love the most. Characters who aren't two-dimensional as a VA's dream. And for Monokuma, well, it's Monokuma. Who wouldn't want to play Monokuma? As for Win Lighthub, he recorded his own answer.
Hey there, it's Win, the voice actor of Katsuro. I think in response to the question of why I wanted to join the project in the first place was really because I had heard of it through Aki. Initially, Aki had told me about one of the characters that he was like looking at, and he had sent me art, and it's of the Undertaker. I forget his name, but he's the Undertaker character, and he had sent me the file, and I was like, oh, he looks cool, and he was pretty much being asked to play him, which I thought was cool. And I think at some point when I looked through the project, just out of sheer curiosity, I basically saw that underneath Katsuro Ito's profile, for his character description, there was a vocal reference, and I noticed that one of the vocal references was a character that I voiced, and that character's Kunitaro Higa from Danganronpa Kill Cure, because at this point I've only really done 2 other Danganronpas. That's been Kunitaro, and that's been Twin. So, when I saw this character and I saw that was a thing, I was like, that's really cool. And considering what the character type is and how he's this business guy and all that, I was really kind of drawn to that character in particular. And I mean, every other character seemed great too, but that was a character that I was like, if I'm the image, the voice that you hear for that character's, that character, then sure, I'll do that. The New Yorker kind of accent wasn't at all asked. It kind of came. I imagined if he was someone on Wall Street, he was gonna try to. He's kind of a smooth talker. He's probably most likely going to definitely just kind of probably sleaze people out of deals or take their money. But there's that. But he's not a completely horrible guy. He's a great guy. It's just one of those things where I definitely feel as if it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. He's a character that I don't necessarily get to play that often. I don't normally get to play a lot of the sleazier characters. It's fun to see that that's a character that's out there, and it was also a coincidence that I was just so happened going to voice that character, and he wanted me for that, so that was pretty cool. Even then I still had my doubts that I was actually going to get it somehow. Just because before in the past people have asked me for we want a voice that's like this or something that you've done like this, and then I'll still do it and I don't get it. So it's one of those cases where this is really fun. I'm really happy to be a part of the group. I'm happy to be a part of the team. There's a lot of things within the project that I think is really fun, and it's cool to just be a part of it. So hopefully that answered your question. Hopefully it wasn't bloated, but yeah, thanks.
And now you know why wonderful VAs decided to join us. Really glad you're on board with us, guys. Alright, next question. Do we know what the requirements will be? Like what kind of PC, or if we play with a console or keyboard? At this time, we know for certain that a PC is required to play the game as it currently is. For now, these are the minimum requirements. Obviously, this could change as we continue to work on the project, but if development goes well, we may be able to port Distrust to the Android. Is Rantara gonna have some romantic moments with someone or anything? I can't tell you anything that will happen in the game, but I will say that one of our scenario writers have made it very clear that they are leaving romantic opportunities in as many free time events as she possibly can, so keep an eye out. Will there be references to offshoot Danganronpa animes and mangas? Most likely, given most of them are canon in the series of events. Are Sora and Hiroshi aware that half of the Danganronpa Distrust fandom ships them? Their voice actors definitely, but their characters can't break the fourth wall, so no. Does Mayu like Baguettes? Come on, this isn't even a question. Of course she does. Okay, that's it for the Q&A, but before I end the video, I'd like to say something. This past year has been a blast. I didn't believe I would ever make it this far, but the cast of Distrust has proven me time and time again that I was wrong. Every time we made progress, I realized that my dream was actually becoming a reality. And though this was an unpaid project, we each gained something along the way. Experience, happiness, friends. In all honesty, I still believe I'm just a fanboy who's trying to make something great, but I have no doubt that my goal is within reach. But of course, none of this would have been remotely possible without the cast and crew, and all of you. I'm not giving up on this project. Even if I feel that I can no longer lead it, I will see that it is completed to some capacity. And that's it for now. This is Taurus Studios signing out, and I'll see you all next time.